So before we get started on anything else, I know we wanted to shed some light on Roberta Flack, the singer who died.
Yes, just really quickly, we wanted to send a rest in peace to Roberta Flack. Mm-hmm. She is famously known for her rendition or singing "Killing Me Softly," and she passed away. She passed away peacefully in her home, surrounded by family. She had been battling some health stuff. She talked about in 2022 that she had ALS. So she had been battling that as well, too. So I just wanted to take a moment for her. We do have her original rendition of Killing Me Softly, which I know a lot of people know from Fugees. But let's take a listen to that.
That's not a rendition, though. That's the OG.
That's the original. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If I said it, if you interpreted that from what I said, that's not what I meant.
That's the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she is the original. I said a lot of people may know it because of the renditions that, like the Fugees and stuff like that.
Well, you learn something new every day because I had no idea that wasn't the Fuji song.
I told Eddie that yesterday. No, when she passed away, I was like, wow, I did not know that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I've been going on a deep dive of her. First of all, she was just gorgeous.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been going on such
really
a deep
pretty.
dive. So just wanted to take that moment.
She's from the DMV area. She was a teacher, and she taught jazz in schools and helped out with communities that needed it. And then she became a singer, and she's had a bunch of records.
That's
a bunch of records. So definitely
First time I
rest in
ever
peace.
saw your face?
The first time I ever saw your face. She was 88 years old, passed away at 88.
Wow.
She lived a full life, though.
Yes.
Joy and Reid.
Yes.
Her last episode on MSNBC was last night.
Yes. So this news.
She wasn't playing. She wasn't crying last night.
No, she wasn't.
On the show.
Last night, she stood 10 toes down. I thought she was going to get emotional on the readout on MSNBC because last night was their last show on the network, but she did not. However, when the news was first announced, Sunday night, the readout was abruptly canceled on Sunday night. She came onto a 10-minute Zoom call with Black Women. That's the organization that helped raise all that money for Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And she was speaking just about the impact of her show, and she did get emotional then. So let's go back there, and then we'll do what happened last night. Let's take a listen to her with Black Women.
My show had value, and that what I was doing had value. And so what I will just say is that in the end, where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents and try to make a life, whether it's any of these issues. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God.
Well, obviously, that's why her show is gone. She was just, because the same thing kind of happened with Don Lemon, right?
Yeah, I mean, people will argue. So, not for instance, but when the announcement was made, they said that it was because of like they're rearranging programming, like kind of like we going in a different direction. We have new things coming. They are replacing her show with another show that Simone Sanders is on. But you know, there are people on the other side that are saying this is happening because Joy speaks out. She's not going to fold. She's not going. She's telling people like, hey,
she goes
this what's
against
happening right now.
She,
Exactly.
wakes people up to certain things.
Exactly. And Rachel. So last night on MSNBC on the readout, Joy and Reid, she came in pretty hot and heavy. You know, just talking about resisting certain things. Let's take a listen to her. I'm sorry. Let's take a listen to Rachel Maddow on whites losing their job, because a lot of people feel like
whites losing their job.
Yes, because a lot of people feel like the Joy and Reid thing that is happening because she's a Black woman on a network cable show that speaks and goes against the grain.
I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Yeah, so last night on MSNBC in that episode when she opened, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of thought that it was going to be like oh my God, I'm so sad. And it wasn't that. She was very strong in, these things are happening. We are not going to get around it. And here's what we need to do. And I thought that it was a great programming. People were giving the network credit for being so gracious to her as she exited. But I thought that was BS, because if they were gracious, they wouldn't have canceled her. They would have kept her voice on. But she's going to be fine. I think that she can go to non-traditional. Like she can go straight to social media, like a lot of other people are doing right now. So wishing her all the best. And I know there were a ton of people that were sending her some love. And Angela Rye, hashtag We Need Joy, and sent her some love as well too. Don Lemon was a big supporter of her last night. A ton of people. Like Tiffany Cross, I was hearing people say that Tiffany Cross was actually there yesterday, Native Land podcast, when Joy was filming her last episode on MSNBC.
Well, it's amazing though, because it's still a good thing for her, because because she had a show, 5 years?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Yeah, like all the people that she built up, the viewers and all of that, the fans and stuff that she built up, they're gonna go wherever she go. Like I do believe that.
But I just want to know why.
That is
like,
true.
Why?
Everything y'all saying is true. Joy Reid will be fine. She can do whatever she wants because, as you just said, Jess, she has an audience, and whatever she chooses to do next, I pray her audience follows her. But I want to say this. I was reading, according to Nielsen Media Research, she lost half her viewers in December because MSNBC saw a 53% drop in primetime viewership after the election. When you see stuff like that, the way everyone mobilized to watch her last night, they should have done that in December. Because when you have the numbers, it makes it very hard for folks to just get rid of you. So I wish that people would come together to support before something bad happens.
Because last night was
don't
an
wait
event.
until somebody gets fired, or gets let go to come and support. When you see those numbers drop back in December, that's when everybody should mobilize and say, oh, you know what? We got to go support somebody who's always riding for us.
A lot of people don't see those numbers, though.
How was somebody supposed to know
people
that?
don't know those numbers.
But I think
until she is let go.
It's not like this information didn't go out there back in December.
Also, too, I would just say, like, I make it a point, like, she's one of the people I make it a point to tune into because I understand what she's doing and on the network that she's on, and just cable news in general, like, especially right now with this new administration.
It's slow.
They don't want that, right? Like, a lot of times I feel like they don't want that. So I try and tune into her as much as I can, actually on cable news and on streaming. But last night was such an event. I'm like, man, I haven't felt like this since the pandemic. We haven't rallied like this since honestly, the last time it was
once again, don't wait until the funeral to show up and tell everybody how much you love them. And just like, damn, why we always got to meet when it's a funeral, people? Right. You know what I'm saying? Support folks when they're on the air. When you see things like a 53% drop in primetime viewership, that's when everybody should mobilize and say, you know what, we got to show up to make sure those numbers are up so they can't just do what they just did to Joy Ann Reid.
Absolutely. All right. And I just want to let you know, my mom's texted me. My mom said that Roberta Flack, actually, she won 4 Grammys, 1 honorary Grammy, so 5 in full, and she was one of the youngest students to go to Howard University.
Wow.
At age 15.
Come on with the
Roberta
facts.
Flack got plenty of records, y'all know. The Closer I Get to You, Killing Me Softly, The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face.
Your mom
Feel
says,
like
y'all
making
put some
love.
respect on my girl's name.
Exactly.
respect
She
on
was
her
like,
name.
I know y'all young up
Right.
there, but let me school y'all young girls real quick.
Oh, but no,
Thanks,
they got
Mom.
records that are way older than you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of
The First
course.
Time I Ever Saw Your Face, that's the 60s.
This is 60s?
What? Hell yeah. The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, that's got to be late 60s.
But y'all know what's crazy is, to your point of showing up before the funeral, a lot of people, I was watching them in real time, learn about her online yesterday because of the announcement of her passing.
Yeah.
I was one of them. So thanks, Mom.
A lot of times you just
Thanks,
don't
Mama
know.
Envy.
I know, right? Mama Casey.
All right. And I think it was the 70s, Charlamagne.
The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face, late 60s. Probably
First time I ever saw
probably
your face.
69.
Late 60s could
I
be
think it was like
go
72.
into the 70s.
It was like 72.
Y'all can meet each other halfway.
It was like
I'll have to look
72.
that up.
We wasn't alive, man.
Thank you, Lauren.
All right. Now, when we come back, Morgan will be joining us for Front Page News, so don't go anywhere. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.